Hey folks, it's Echo here. Before you can build insane bases like this, you need a few tools and fundamentals, so we're going to cover all the mechanics to help you get started. In 7 Days to Die, you have 5 different types of materials to work with, starting with building blocks, which have 100 health, going to wood with 500, cobblestone 1500, concrete 5000, and then steel with 10,000. You're first introduced to the building block through the starting tutorial. You look at the ground, you press right click to place it. And then the nice thing about this one is you can pick it up and replace it. It's the only type of block that allows you to do that. In terms of characteristics, if you come into the menu, press tab, go down to your building cube, you're going to see it has mass and horizontal support, which we'll get to in a second. Hit points, which we mentioned. Vertical support just means that you can build upward on top of it. Light opacity 255 means that nothing passes through. 0 means that light passes through. So to build this one, you're going to come over here into the crafting menu and then type building block, or click on the building block, and you see that it costs only 2 wood to make. You don't have to have a crafting station or anything like that. You just press craft and it's going to make you another building shape. The next shape up we have is the wood shape, and you can make this one in your crafting menu as well. Just type in wood and wood block, and you're going to notice this takes 10. So it's a little bit more resources to build it this way. Alternatively, you can place one of those building cubes there and use one of your crafting tools. So there's a axe, and that's going to take 3 hits. And then that, as long as you have wood in your inventory, will upgrade it to the next level. So it took it from building shape up to wood. Next, cobblestone for 1500 to be able to make cobblestone. This one's a little bit trickier. So to make cobblestone, you actually need to make cobblestone rocks first. So it's just going to be 1 clay and 1 small stone to create a cobblestone rock. And then to make 1 cobblestone shape, you're going to have 10 cobblestone rocks. So same thing as before, we can upgrade this, or we can place one. So I could just come here, pull out a cobblestone shape that I've created and place it. Alternatively, I can upgrade this one. So as an example, I will show you the next tier that you unlock in terms of repair tools, I think is what they call these, is the claw hammer. So it only takes 2 hits to upgrade it to the next level. After this, we get to concrete. Concrete's a little bit more complicated because this takes some additional workstations to build. The first of which, you're going to need a forge. So once you open up the forge, you're going to need to make cement, and you make cement by putting stone into this. You put stone in the smelting slots here, you turn the forge on, and then it will slowly build up the number here, and then you can just come in and craft cement accordingly. Once that's done, you'll pull it out of the output. The second thing that you're going to need to make concrete is going to be a cement mixer. So this will take crushed sand, small stone, and cement that you made over in your forge. Small stone you'll find out in the world just from breaking down rocks. And then crushed sand, you can either take small stones, put them into the cement mixer here and create crushed sand, or just find it out in the desert. So once you have these 3 materials together, you can use that to make concrete mix. Now, same as before, it's going to take you 10 of these concrete mix here to be able to make building shapes. Now that you can do in your menu. So if I want to make concrete blocks, I just have to have 10 concrete mix and craft it right here in my inventory. No crafting station for that part of it. Now the last block that we have is a steel block. This is the end game material that you're going to be using for your horde bases. Again, we're going to need a forge. In addition to the forge, you're also going to need a crucible. So a crucible allows you to create forged steel. Without that, you're going to notice the menu change over to the left. When we add this, the forged steel shows up on the menu. Then to be able to build the forged steel, you're going to need 31 iron and 15 clay. Now this will be changed over time. You can make this cheaper through the advanced engineering perk. So as you go in here on your intellect skill and advanced engineering, you can see items craft faster in the forge. Then you're going to also see they start to get cheaper. So all forge recipes cost 10 less. Crafting forged steel and electrical devices cost 15 less. And then, you know, that scales up as you get more points into advanced engineering. So once you've created 10 of these, you're able to make a steel shape, same as before. So if I come in here and I make a steel block, it's going to cost 10 again, and I just craft that up. You can see that the duration to make this is quite a long time, so there's some advantages to upgrading versus making a bunch of steel cubes in your inventory. Either way, we could craft it there. So then same thing as before, we can take this all the way up the chain. So I'm going to use the nail gun because it's the fastest route to it. So going from cobblestone, it's going to take it to concrete and then finally to steel. So those are all your material types right there in terms of 7 Days to Die. Now let's talk about all the shapes that you can build with these. So we're not going to start off building something crazy like the dragon head that I've developed over here, but that gives you an idea of all the creative shapes that you can play with. And so let's just take some simple examples. So we're going to pull out the building cube again. First off, I want to show you how to find new shapes. So hold down the R button on the keyboard, come up here to shape on the radial menu that pops up. And then this is going to give you access to all these different shapes. Now, right now it says that there's only 196, but we also have the square category on this side selected. If we unselect that, you'll notice we have 2,159, which is the total number of shapes currently in version 1.3. So if you want to ratchet those down at all, click any of these categories and it's going to give you a subset of that total. Now, I mention these categories because it's very common that people click on these and forget that they're in them, and you go in the search bar. So for example, if I look for the ramp, but I have round selected, I'm not going to find the ramp. So I actually have to be in that category. Now, if I unselect it, then the ramp will show up as well as a number of other different shapes. So let's actually use the ramp as an example of a block shape. So now when we go to place this, if I left click, I can rotate that in a circle. So that allows us for different block placements. And if I press R, it's going to rotate it in the opposite direction. But a lot of the times you want to do things like flip this upside down. Like what if I want to make a parallelogram here? So I can do that. And now I'm going to hold down R and come into advanced rotation. And I can rotate it like that. And now we start to get some interesting shapes that you can build out. So that is how you kind of create different things. Now, you notice there's a lot more stuff on this radial menu. I want to cover two more really important ones. The first one is copy shape. So whatever I'm pointing at, it's going to copy the shape. So right now I'm currently pointing to the cube on the ground. So it's just going to copy a cube. Not that I really need that, but let's say if we wanted to do something similar to this. So I can copy, I'm going to go ahead and place a block here. Now I'm going to come over to the ramp that we did, and I'm going to copy shape, and I'm also going to copy the rotation. So I can either just copy shape or copy shape and rotation. Now I have a ramp that's oriented in the same fashion as that one right there that I can use to start building a ramp upward. So next we're going to talk about building stability. So what does this mean? When we look at the block shapes, I mentioned that horizontal support and mass. So what this means is coming off of a building cube, you can hang a total of 40 mass off of it. So if we've got each of these are 5 mass, that means we should be able to hang 8 of these off of a single one. And I'm going to look at this as well as the wood shapes at the same time, because you'll notice that they're the exact same. So 5 mass and 40 horizontal support. So that means if we use this as the first example, so we'll do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as we go here, we're seeing it turn yellow. When you see it turn this bright pink color, that means when you place it, bad things are going to happen. It's all going to come crumbling down. So same thing here. If we come off of this one, we're going to make it the same distance. So 5, 6, 7, 8 lined up with that block. And you'll see we place this and fall. So the next ones that come together, the cobblestone and concrete have the exact same set of attributes with them. So 10 mass and 120 horizontal support. So you can go 12 blocks out. So as you scale up in material types, you'll be able to build farther and farther out. So with these, we'll use this next one as an example. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you'll notice the next one on here is going to have that bright pink color. Again, as we place that, it all comes tumbling down. So steel is the last block in terms of this. So if we look at that, 20 and 30. So we had 12 on the last one. We're going to have 15 here, and that's going to be 300 divided by 20. So I'm not going to go all the way up because I can't reach that high, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And as we get to the end, you'll notice the blocks turn more and more yellow. So we're right here in that 15 block. Place that. Now, interestingly enough, I don't think I knew that. That was a new learning for me. Steel does not collapse the whole section as you do that, unless you do it earlier on. So the last thing to show you is all about paint. And this is one of the things that really transforms a base. What we're gonna need to do first off is make a paintbrush. So come in here and just type in paint or paint, whatever you wanna do. It's really cheap to make some wood and some leather. So you'll craft up a paintbrush. And then next you're gonna have to create some paint. So you got two options for paint. You can either use a chemistry station, or you can use a cooking station. And I just remembered we're gonna have to have a cooking pot there. Let's go ahead and place that in there. And then you're gonna need some chrysanthemum. So you'll see this growing all over the world. So we'll just grab some of this real quick. And you just come into your chemistry station here and we can make some paint. So I also need fuel, which we had it over there. We'll grab some quick coal and put it in here. Turn that on and then we can make paint. So you can see it makes quite a bit. So once you've crafted up your paint, you just grab it out of the output inventory of the chem station or the cooking station here. Oh, you know what helps? There we go. So paint costs the same in either. You don't get a cheaper recipe at one spot or the other. It's the same. Now, once we've got this equipped, we can hold down R again and we pick our materials. So we can pick from any of the different paints that we want in here, or if we already have paints that we're trying to copy, I can come up to here and point at this and go texture picker, and it's going to change the paint to match that. So I can do just two sides of this or whatever I want. The last thing that I'll say on this is you have some interesting shapes out there that also have unique characteristics. So if I come in here, the one that comes to mind is the bookcase. Bookcase has some weird characteristics. So if I place this cube corner bevel bookcase, I can actually come in here and I can paint the, the different sides and then leave that center bit a different color. So then I can come in here in R, and I know books are one of those things in here. So bookcase, I can highlight that and then color the inside. So I can make that bookcase whatever color I want. So that gives you the idea of how you can get to some really unique looking bases. So I will leave you with a few bonus tips. The first of which is when you're out and about in the world and you see something that you like if I see this dragon head and I want to copy this, I can go around to this and go and copy shape and rotation to find the exact block that was used. So I can copy this and then I can come down here and highlight it, and it's going to give me the name of it. So that is a cube 5M round roof bottom 03. The next tip I'll share is that some blocks have unique and hidden characteristics. I did a whole video on this talking about blocks that you can shoot through, repair through, etc. So go check out that. I'll link it up above. My next tip is to learn to play around in the prefab editor. This is a safe environment that you can play around, build, prototype, and test. I've got a whole streaming series on this that I'll link below that you can go and check out. So those are the basics of building in 7 Days to Die. I've used these same principles and mechanics to build some of the bases you see here, and now it's up to you to get out there, experiment, and see what you can build. Hey folks, so I hope that helps you get started in building in 7 Days to Die. If you got any other questions, drop them down in the comments. As always, a huge thanks to all my incredible and amazing supporters over here. I'll see everyone on the next video. Cheers all.